Hey guys, and welcome to our weekly Switcher Studio broadcast. As normal, I am Angela, and today we've kind of changed things up a little bit. We've got Dan behind the camera today, and we've got Nick in the studio, and he's going to be talking to you guys in just a little bit. But of course, to start out, I do want to go over some things that I've noticed from this week. The first thing I want to mention, we've had a couple of user questions come in about what should you do if you're going to be doing a broadcast where you know from the start there's a low upload speed. Of course, we always recommend having a minimum of 3 megabits per second upload. If you know you're going to be under that, of course, the first thing to do is to try to find an alternative route. If you can do a mobile hotspot or a portable router that has a better upload speed, bring that, try to connect to that. That's going to give you a much more stable broadcast without any lag and a much better quality broadcast. Now, if that's not, possible, if you can't bring in another hotspot, we recommend using director mode. And again, this setting is just in Switcher Studio. What it does is it automatically lowers the quality of your stream, but leaves you with a high definition recording of either 720p or 1080p. This way, after that broadcast is over, you've got a video component with no lag or blips or anything like that you can upload to your website, YouTube, anything after that broadcast. And the last thing to remember with director mode, I do see a lot of questions about this. Make sure to go into the media bin, which is in the top left corner of Switcher Studio, and select your journal. Make sure all of the iOS devices you had connected while recording are connected still, and it will compose. If you do not compose, you're not going to have that full quality video. So make sure you take the time, let that compose, and that's what you'll be uploading to your website or anything else.
We can drop a link in the comments after the broadcast on how to access the media bin and build that journal file.
Yes. And another thing we want to mention just really quick, we've mentioned the shirts here or there. We do have all of your shirts ordered, and they will be coming to you guys soon. Again, thank you so much for your patience with it, and we can't wait to see you guys rocking your Switcher Studio wear.
I want pictures.
Yeah, send us, once you get your shirts, send us pictures of you wearing them. We would love to see those. And again, for anyone who did not meet that February cutoff, we are going to have more opportunities in the future for you to get your own Switcher Studio products. And the last thing I do want to go over today, if you're using any kind of Switcher equipment, make sure if you want to do screen sharing that you're using SwitcherCast. We know we've had some other options in the past, but SwitcherCast is the one that we've kept up to date. It's getting all the new advances just like the app is. So make sure that SwitcherCast is what you're using when you're using screen sharing with your Mac. And again, you can find that by going to our help center just from switcherstudio.com and searching for SwitcherCast. And for anyone wondering, yes, we are still working on a Windows version of that. And as soon as we know more about when a release date will be happening, we'll be sure to let you know. But speaking of SwitcherCast, of course, last week we had Nick over in sunny San Diego at Social Media Marketing World, and we brought him in interview style on Skype. And so today we're going to have Nick talk a little bit about what happened at Social Media Marketing World.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure what to expect with this conference. We'd never been before. It's a very marketing-centric event. Oddly enough, almost half the sessions were about live video specifically, Facebook Live in particular. And it was really interesting to see what other leaders in the industry are doing, what they found works, and things that they're still experimenting with. And there are a lot of things that were still up for debate. One of those was the war against 4:3 and 16:9 video. What gets the most clicks? What are people responding to? And it was all over the place. Different people were saying different things. You would go to one session and they say, but 4:3 all the way. And you go to another session and they say, no, shoot widescreen. This was kind of my take on it. If you're doing video, 16:9 is standard. It's what you see on most YouTube videos if you're going to edit and post-production using Final Cut or Premiere or iMovie. 16:9 is the norm. So if you have any intention of repurposing your content or you're enabling director mode and you plan to edit afterwards, start with holding your phone this way, and you're going to be able to use that video in a lot of different ways afterwards if you're pulling out clips or highlights or posting it on other platforms, you can always crop that finished video before you put it somewhere else. Now, there is a place for 4x3 video, and that's not to say you can't go live in 4x3. I think Snapchat is all vertical anyways, and Instagram is doing some different stuff as well. So there's lots of different formats, but what marketers are seeing is 4x3 has better click rates for ads. So if you're running ads on Facebook, you can post an image, but if you post a video, you're likely to have more engagement. And if you post a 4x3 video, it actually takes up more room in the news feed. So rather than being a smaller 16:9 stretch, you've got half the screen taken up by video. There's even full screen vertical video ad options within Facebook now. So one of the things with running ads, if that's something that you're doing or trying to boost posts, try video. People watch, and try different formats. Nobody knows for sure if it's 4x3, if it's 16:9, if it's vertical video. It might be different depending on the type of content that you're doing. But it's okay to try different things out. And so I think the big takeaway was if you're doing ads on Facebook, maybe take a look at 4x3. You could have better results. At least that's what some of the marketers are seeing. If you're doing video and you plan to repurpose it in other ways, maybe look at 16:9. One of the other things that was a common topic or theme is planning for your stream. And this is actually in the session that I gave at Summit Live, was talking about how to plan before your broadcast, how to brainstorm. You don't have to storyboard the entire thing, but having a checklist for things that you want to discuss, letting your viewers know what you're going to cover in your broadcast, repeating that information for people that might come in midstream and not catch it from the very beginning, and ending with a call to action. Always tell your viewers what to do next and where you want to send them. And that's actually a good segue for one of the main keynote speakers at Social Media Marketing World. Lots of S's here, Summit Live, Social Media Marketing World. If you're doing a call to action, which you should be, your sign off, you want to get the most out of that call to action. There's a lot of broadcasts we see where people will wrap up and say, check us out on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and like us, and you're sending them to all these other platforms, but what happens is your viewers are going in circles and they're going to all these different platforms, but really they're there for you. And if you can do something that's more direct, that sends them to your website or somewhere where you can capture their email address and engage them in other ways, they'll eventually like you on those other platforms. But do something very direct with an intention where you can communicate with those viewers afterwards, and you'll have more success with that. So it's great to have lots of platforms, and your audiences might be in different places, so you have to go where they are. But if you're going to wrap your broadcast with what you want your viewers to do next, make sure you're making the most of it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about as kind of a recap for Social Media Marketing World, there was a session from Mari Smith. She is the queen of Facebook, and she started doing Facebook ads and Facebook marketing very early on when the platform was still really new. She was recognized by IBM as one of the 5 most influential women in marketing and tech, and she invited me to a private workshop the day after Social Media Marketing World. It was a smaller group, and she was hitting on a lot of the same topics, but went into more detail on how to better use Facebook ads, some of the different tools that are available, including Switcher Studio. And branding your content was one of the big topics that came out of that conversation, is making sure people know where your video is coming from, who you represent, and some of these same themes on 4x3 and 16:9 and boosting posts. And so if you haven't heard of Mari Smith, check her out. Actually, Dan, if you want to cut to the computer, here's a quick little clip from Mari's session. She is Scottish, but also from Canada, and now lives in San Diego. She's super sharp and has a lot of really great tips for how to better leverage Facebook, not just Facebook Live, but Facebook in general. So if that's something you're wanting to learn more about, Mari is a really great resource. So we can go ahead and switch over to just a few highlights from the conference. At Social Media Marketing World, we did get a chance to meet up with Loria Patrice from Live Streaming Pros. And Dan, I think we've got a picture where she was on set for one of the little pop-up areas at the conference. We also got to meet with Gus. So Gus is a Switcher user. He's been with us for a while now. He's at Johns Hopkins University and works with their social media and marketing team, and also does freelance journalism and investigative reporting. And he's been using the product for over 2 years now. He's given us a lot of really good feedback. He's even had phone calls with other people that have used Switcher to help them out with things and answer questions. I think he had a post here recently where they have done closed captioning or showing text for what is being said on some of their broadcasts, and experimenting with some different ways to maybe do that inside of Switcher. So it was really great to meet up with Gus at the conference, talk about his workflow, meet some other people that he knows there as well, and really excited for what he's been doing, and always looking for opportunities to meet more users. And if you aren't in the user group already, if you're thinking about Switcher or you're already using it, be sure to check out the Switcher Studio Enthusiast group. There is a short survey you'll have to fill out before you can jump into that, but it's a really good place to post questions, share links to your videos, and just kind of lean into other people that are using the product. It's a really great community, and everyone's there to help. So check that out if you're not there already. One last thing I did want to show, I'm going to bring up another tab on the computer, Dan. At the conference, Whitney had a conversation with a group, Clearwater Marine Aquarium. So there's a Disney film called Dolphin Tale, and it's a dolphin with a prosthetic fin. This is the aquarium where that little guy came from, and they did their first Switcher broadcast this week. Here you can see they have their logo. They're interviewing some people at the aquarium. They're going to show the dolphins here in a little bit. But just wanted to say thanks to Clearwater Marine Aquarium for trying Switcher out. It looks like a great broadcast. And if you know anyone that is looking to make more content and needs to brand it, here's a really good example of how you can do that and put your stamp on your videos for Facebook Live. So, Angela, I'm going to throw it over to you if there's anything else that you want to hit on while I check out the comments, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, one thing I did want to mention, as Nick mentioned just a few minutes ago, and how we've brought up on a couple of the other broadcasts, make sure if you guys are interested all in Switcher or currently using Switcher, to do a Facebook search for Switcher Studio Enthusiasts and join the group. We've got a lot of good content coming through every day. There are tips and tutorials for it. Also, remember, as Nick said, there is that short survey. We do have some people who have joined who we don't have a survey for. So if you're watching this, you've joined the group and you haven't been accepted, make sure you go through that. Survey's in the description. It's also pinned at the top of the group. Takes just a couple minutes to fill out, lets us know more about how you're using Switcher and how to make Switcher better for you, and then we'll accept you right in. If you've already done that survey and you still have not been accepted, just shoot us a message on Facebook. A lot of times we've seen that's just a matter of, your Facebook name might appear differently than how the survey looked, and we're able to fix that right up. So again, if you have joined the group, haven't been accepted, fill out that survey and you'll be accepted right into it. If you have done the survey and do not have access, just let us know and we'll go ahead and make sure we get you in. But Nick, do we have any time for any questions today?
Well, quick fact check, Dolphin Tale is a Warner Brothers film, not Disney. So we got that. Thank you, Whitney, for the correction. Also, there's a comment from Samuel Brown. We did see the support ticket come through on the weird scaling for HDMI output. We're going to try some things here at the office to try and reproduce that, and Angela will follow up to make sure we get that resolved. So are looking into that to try and see how we can get that fixed for you and what's happening. Also wanted to hit on one of the threads we saw in the user group earlier this week, copyright in live video. So there have been some broadcasts, not only within the Switcher user group, but within the live video community as a whole, mobile journalism and some others, where their broadcasts have been flagged and they've either been removed or muted for copyright claims. So if you are in if you are in a venue where music comes over the PA, or there's a halftime show and a dance team comes out, or you're doing a pageant and there's a top 40 song that is playing in the background, Content ID is implemented on these different platforms, especially within YouTube, but now Facebook is starting to implement this as well, where those broadcasts can be flagged, and there's not really a good system in place by any of these platforms to be proactive and say, yes, I have permission to do these broadcasts. If you're a radio station and you're playing music, you might have rights to stream audio online, but streaming audio and playing audio in a live video require different rights. If you're doing a performance, like a play, you might have rights to do those performances for a live audience, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have the rights to use that in a broadcast or to stream online. So at this point, the best way to kind of dance around this is to avoid putting yourselves in a situation where that might be a problem. Within Switcher, there are a couple mechanisms you can use if you get caught off guard. One is the mute function. So within the iPad interface, there's a mute button at the top of the screen that will kill the microphone. So if you're using the built-in microphone or you have audio connected to your device, it will mute that sound, give you an opportunity to maybe relocate and come back to your broadcast. You can throw up an image while you're in the middle of that. You can also insert a video, and with video, it's going to play whatever audio goes along with that. So if you want to have a bumper or something to throw to, that might be a little less jarring for your viewers than just completely muting your broadcast. So you could throw up a video and use that mute function so that the microphone isn't filtering through over top of it. So hopefully there are systems that get put in place that improve this process, that make it easier for those of you that have the means to do this and want to do it right, to do it without getting your videos flagged. But for the rest of us, right now we have to wait. So those are a couple tricks you can use within Switcher to help in those situations.
Of course, one other thing just that I've picked up over the years, if you're doing this, maybe from your own studio or something, and you do want music playing in the background, there's a lot of really great resources online that I've used for years myself as a content creator. My favorite is freeplaymusic.com. Everything on there is free of charge. It's high quality. It's just like the stuff you would hear on the radio with all different kinds of genres, and you're able to get music that way to put in your broadcast. There's some paid options like Audio Jungle. They're pretty cheap. They actually give you a license that way, and that way you own that version of the music. And one thing that I've learned, love doing just over my time, if you even do a YouTube search, let's say you want a jazz song, type in royalty-free jazz or copyright-free jazz. A lot of times you'll find just a music creator who's not a big name, they just kind of do this for fun. If you message them, a lot of times they'll let you use their music and they'll give you a shout out back for using it. So you both are supporting each other, advertising for each other. Those are some ways if you're just starting out, you want some music and you don't want to go through iTunes and risk getting flagged with copyright, look for some free music or some cheaper paid options that give you the license, and that way you're going to avoid, being flagged or being muted that way as well.
All right, so I think we're about ready to wrap. Wanted to borrow a little trick from one of our users. There's the group over at Brittlestar. They do a morning broadcast every week, and they do a roll call for people that are watching on their broadcast. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to Edward and Alfredo and Rodney and Samuel. Thanks for coming in early. So happy to have you here. We're going to be doing more of these broadcasts. We have been doing these regularly on Fridays, but hope to start pumping that up and producing more videos for you guys. And we're here to answer any questions. Rodney, if you could put a link in the comments to one of your more recent productions, would love to see what you're doing. But thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to check us out online at switcherstudio.com. If you have an account already, be sure to get in the user group, share your content, ask questions. It's a really good place to meet other people in the Switcher community. If you haven't tried Switcher already, go to our website, switcherstudio.com, and you can create an account. The first 14 days are on us. So thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.